Greetings to all. Myself, Dr. R. Ganesan, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Kamaraj College of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to see the topic Power System Operation Control, Unit Commitment Constraint. First of all, what is unit commitment? What is the difference between economic dispatch and a unit commitment? Unit commitment is we are going to turn on units on the time of operation depending on the load we are going to schedule. That is the unit commitment. After that, we are commit the unit. We are going to analyze how much cost it involved to the to the load. That is the economic dispatch. So first thing is a unit commitment is scheduling of generating units over a time horizon. Typically 24 to 48 hours depends on the load demand. So determine on off status of each unit each hour. Okay, so this is unit commitment UC, we can call it as UC. Unit commitment must satisfy load demand, spinning requirements. Spinning reserve means excess generating units we have to fix for the losses and the transmission purpose. Then operational constraint. So what are the constraints involved in this are first, why constraint must matter in UC. Without constraint we cannot operate units or generating units because it's the number of feasible, because load demand every hour load demand will change. For that we need to change our unit also. In that matter we need to change every hour or every day unit on off status. So without that, without constraint, the unit will collapse, maybe equipment damage, then power may be lost due to cost effect. We have meet the losses. So two main categories are there: unit specific constraint as well as system wide constraint. So ignoring constraint lead to blackout or equipment damage. This is the main need for unit constraint. So unit commitment, first unit commitment constraint is generation limit. That means every generator has a limit with maximum to minimum power generation. For example, on power generator having the stable generation of 50 megawatt means that is the minimum power generation, and it can be generated up to 500 megawatt means that is the maximum output, that is maximum constraint. This means that in between this the generator will operate. That is the thing, 100 maybe 200 or 250 megawatt. So minimum 50 and maximum 500 megawatt, that is the minimum to maximum constraint. So if on is within the limit, off is there is no power generation. That is binary visible, the variable like 0, 1. So when the unit is on, that is 1, which is in between 50 to 500 megawatt. If it is off means there is no power generation, that is 0 megawatt. This is the generation limit, the most important limit in a unit commitment constraint. Second one is minimum uptime. Once started, every unit having minimum particular time to uptime. So particular minimum duration it will be stay on. For example, I have to turn on thermal generating plant. Immediately I cannot turn off. It will be turned on for some time. Okay, that is the minimum uptime. Example, combined cycle gas turbine minimum uptime is 4 hours. Okay, and it will be gradually increased to attain the maximum power output. And minimum downtime after shutdown, unit must stay off. If I shut down one unit, immediately I cannot turn on. So that also have hold some time. That is the minimum downtime. So that minimum uptime means once I turn on, I cannot turn off immediately. That is the minimum uptime. Minimum downtime means once I am turned down or shut down the unit, it must stay off for some or minimum duration. For example, large coal unit minimum downtime is 8 hours. Okay. Then ramp rate limits means we cannot suddenly raise our power output. We can gradually increase the power output by time of every 5 minutes or every half an hour or every 1 hour. That is the ramp rate limits. So ramp up time limit is 20 megawatt per minute or 240 megawatt per hour. We can fix this, and within the range we can increase up to our maximum power output. So like that the ramp down limit is 20 megawatt per minute or 20 megawatt per 240 megawatt per hour. like that. So, this is the constraint for ramp rate limits. And startup shutdown cost. Startup cost, fuel for warning auxiliaries wheres, that like means if we are operating thermal power plant means we need fuel. Like coal power plant or gas or petrol, whatever in thermal power plant we need. So, startup cost is how much power we need to start up, that unit allotted unit will start, that is also having the constraint. If one unit has higher cost, another one unit is lower cost, means we go for lower cost unit. So, that that will be defined by the startup cost. And cold start versus hot start means cold start, when one unit is operated fully shut down and fully cool down, that is the cold start. Another one unit is shut down nearby or 3 to 4 hours before, but in hot start it will be cold and hot, sorry, it will be hot and it will be restart immediately, means we can use hot start. So, it has the lesser cost, it has the higher cost. And shutdown cost means it is easily lower cost compared to startup cost, because we are going to shut down, we are going to take out our fuel and going to turn off the unit. So, there is a minimum amount of cost. So, directly affect commitment decision, too many startups equal to uneconomical. In particular time we can startups too many means it is uneconomical, and exponential or recess linear in downtime. This is the main startup and shutdown cost. Spinning reserve requirement means extra online capacity ready to respond with 10 minutes, because if the load is increased, we have generated one particular power and the load is high, then we need a extra power, means we can operate spinning reserve. So, what is the reserve means? Reserve margin is 5% of load largest single unit. We can fix this ratio, so that we can turn on immediately and give the or satisfy the demand. And fuel constraint, limited fuel supply daily, weekly for certain plants, because sometimes we have lot of water for hydropower plant, sometimes we don't have the water, like that we need the fuel constraint also, which renewable energy we are going to take as a base, and coal and thermal power plant we are going to take as a when the peak demand is needed. So, likewise we analyze this maximum and minimum availability and cost, how much it is less or high, so that we are fixing the fuel constraint also. And other important constraints are power balance constraint. In a transmission line we are going to send the power, generated power to demand load for the consumer. So, we need to meet over all the demand without excess power generation. That is the main thing, that is the power balance constraint. Transmission constraint, because we consider a single transmission line for analysis purpose, but in practical there is lot of transmission lines are there. So, our power, completely generated power, zonal wise or nodal wise, it will be delivered to the power demand, means we need extra power generation to manage the transmission losses, that is the transmission constraint. And must run and fixed commitment constraint. Must run means I already told, renewable energy sources if available means we use, that is the must run constraint, because the cost operating cost is initial, maybe initial cost is heavy, but the operating cost is low and it is available. So, we use must run constraint for renewable energy, and fixed commitment constraint are sometimes we use solar, wind in seasonal, like that it is a fixed commitment constraint. Then emission constraint, which type of emissions for global warming, it is a CO2 or SO2, like that how much amount it will emit. We need to analyze that, if it is minimum means we can go for that minimum value. So, that is the emission constraint. Hydro and pumped storage constraint. So, hydro constraint, we when the water is available we are using it as a must run, as well as it is a all time available source, and pumped storage is a when the heavy water is there, means we can store the water in a some other places, and using potential energy, there potentially we are generating power, that is a hydro and pumped storage constraint. Then renewable integration constraint, I already told, solar, wind, that also integrated with our power generation unit, and we are going to commit that renewable and integration constraint as our one of power sources. This is also a renewable integration constraint. These are the constraints we are using. I just tell the constraints name. First is generation limit, then minimum uptime, minimum downtime, RAM rate limits, startup and shutdown cost, spinning reserve requirements, fuel constraint. These are main important constraint. Then other constraints are power balance constraint, transmission constraint, must run and fixed commitment constraint, emission constraint, hydro pump storage, renewable integrator constraint. These are the unit commitment constraints. So we can see what are how we are going to calculate the unit commitment next class. Thank you.